Houston, we have a problem.
Give me all you got!
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Give me back my gun! I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Stand and Watch, the best and only dad movie podcast you're ever going to listen to because we killed all the other ones.
They're dead.
Oh, just gone. You'll never find the bodies.
We hit them with a EMP bomb, so they couldn't. First we killed their podcast, then we killed them.
Yeah. Hello, all you wonderful standees, and of course Steve Buscemi, our number one listener. As always,
Steve.
Yep.
It's been great, man. It's been a great season. We're getting close to the end of season 2. We're just glad that you've been along for the ride the entire time.
Maybe you come on the show for season 3. You know, we're open. As always, I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Nick.
And this is a special episode because all episodes are special, and we have a guest.
Are you going to introduce him, Matt? Are you going to introduce him?
I thought you were going to introduce me.
Well,
I didn't think I had to introduce myself.
You did a fun little like me motion, and I thought you were going to segue into an introduction, so I was waiting.
Nope,
He's going to play really good on the audio version.
Right on. Do some editing. Hi, I'm Brian Cutter.
Brian, I'm sure you're here to promote something, because why else would you come on our show?
Sure. I guess I can promote something if you really want me to.
I mean, you don't have to. You can just say, hi, I'm Brian, and this show's my favorite, and I'm a good guy.
Okay. Hi, I'm Brian. The show's my favorite. I'm a good guy.
All right. You heard it here first, everybody.
No, but Brian and I have followed each other on Twitter, and then when Twitter went down the shit pipe, we continued our fellowship over on Blue Sky, and Brian's been good people on the interweb.
Yep, I try to be. I can be a jerk if I want to, but I try not to be.
It's fun though. Being a jerk is fun.
Yeah,
when it's deserved.
Nick's in his hater era. I'm in my curmudgeon era. You know, good things are happening.
Exactly. I think, but Matt, you need some more gray to be in your curmudgeon era. Like what is that? What are you, like 26?
For your information, I am 27.
My bad.
You just don't ask a podcast host their age.
How dare you? How dare you?
No, Matt is our resident non-father, but he has his dad chime in from time to time, which is always fun. Having a backseat dad over your shoulder as you're podcasting.
Every week he bugs me about a different movie he demands us to talk about. And
How did he feel about the Tombstone episode? Because I know he's requested episodes, and you've been like, we have to adhere to the wheel.
I don't. He hasn't mentioned the Tombstone episode to me. He listened to our Looper episode today. He's like, Looper, really? Is that a dad movie? I'm like, yeah, we thought it was.
It's there's some dad stuff in there.
Yeah. He's very excited about the RoboCop episode.
Is that the next one?
Yeah.
What came out today? I'm so removed from
Looper.
Looper came out today because there's one. I know there was one I wasn't on, and I'm gonna just complete when that
Jumper.
One comes out.
You were not on Jumper.
I was not on Jumper, so when that one comes out, I'm just gonna announce to the world that I'm no longer with the show and let that sit for a week. And then when the one comes back, all right, me and Matt talked it out. We're fine.
You got to go with the narrative that I said on the episode is that the terrorists made you too expensive.
And I wasn't willing to go down on my pride. I wasn't willing to do it for college credits.
I mean, you can announce that I'm taking over for you, Nick. How about that?
I like it. Ernie,
every guest is a secret co-host audition.
As you can see, you're not the only one.
Ernie has started this recently. I don't know what it is. I fill his bowls before we start the episodes, but he'll come up here, step on the keyboard, unplug my microphone. He's become a menace. I think it might be because we got 2 new puppies, and it's his, hey, fuck you. Why'd you bring these things home?
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you do
Yes.
this? You know, you're at peace at your desk, so I'm going to attack you there. I'm going to attack you where you're at peace.
Well, I can promote this. I can tell everybody that listens to the podcast that as a filmmaker, I have discovered through trial and error that cats do not make good production assistants.
They are very bad. They are very. Oh, Ernie, he just yacked across the room.
Nice.
I'll pick that up later.
I'm a little nervous because usually he unplugs your mic before we start recording. He hasn't done that yet. He's waiting.
No, as soon as he gets up here, I try to like corral him over to this side of the desk away from the microphone. But now when I do that, he sits on the keyboard. So I'm going to move my keyboard away to where he can't get it.
Excellent. All right. Well, as you all know by the title of this episode, we're talking about a Goldeneye. That's right.
Goldeneye.
Goldeneye.
Nick is going to do that throughout the entire episode, however long this is. Just be prepared.
Everyone is going to hate me by the end of this episode.
Maybe they'll love you because they'll be like, yeah, catchy song.
What if there's a guy out there that no matter the Bond film that he's mentioning, he sings it, because all of them have the theme song that has the name of the movie in the song, right?
No, they don't all have the name of the movie.
No.
Like there's not one where it's like the man with the golden gun. Nothing like that.
Well, the man with the golden gun goes exactly like that, actually.
Jesus, I haven't seen that.
That's
I haven't
actually
seen all
exactly
the
how that song goes.
or what Octopussy. I don't know what they do for Octopussy.
That was all time high.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'd like to imagine there's a guy out there that just finds a way to just sing every Bond.
I like to
title.
imagine there's a guy out there, no matter what Bond movie he's talking about, he just goes, Goldeneye.
Goldeneye. He does that weird like enunciating thing that Christina Aguilera does. Goldeneye.
Now, just for any movie, he'll just go, Goldeneye. Oh, Dr. No, I love that movie. Goldeneye.
And it's starting to branch out into his other like non-Bond movies. He's like, I'm gonna go watch Nice Guys. His friends are like plotting a way to murder him.
His friends are like, hey, we're gonna go see Sinners. You want to come? Sinners? That movie looks great. Goldeneye.
He asks if every movie he goes to see, do they have an opening theme?
Listen, there isn't. I do get a little excited when movies have opening credits. It's a lost art.
I do like it. The Bond movies have it. Does Mission Impossible do? They have something.
They do.
It's they did Limp Bizkit that one time, the one that everybody hates.
Yeah, the two.
Yeah, really. Like, hey, John Woo was like, "You guys like Limp Bizkit?"
Everybody liked Limp Bizkit back then. It was a different time.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
It was the limpest of times.
It was the limpest of times. It was the biscuit of times.
If we ever do Mission Impossible 2, that'll be the name of the episode. We won't even say it's Mission Impossible 2. Even so, I'm thinking back to other movies that have titles. The Pokemon movies did it. I think there was a Yu-Gi-Oh movie that did it.
Are we counting anime? Because I feel like all anime movies have it.
Are we calling Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh anime at this point?
They absolutely are.
They were WB cartoons. They weren't anime.
They were produced in Japan.
I think you kind of have to stop calling something anime when they do a version of it where Ryan Reynolds does the voice of the character.
This is fair. Ryan Reynolds, hey, you know what? Leave Ryan alone. He got into dub work, okay? He's like, I'm gonna do some dubs, and then I want to buy a fucking soccer team with Mac from Always Sunny, okay?
Who I've never met until now.
Who I've never met. By the way, short tangent. They canceled Mythic Quest, which I was like, okay, like it ran its course, whatever. They changed the ending. So like you can't watch the original ending they did when they thought they were getting another season. They reshot and changed the ending, and it's changed on the app forever.
What did they change it to?
They had Poppy and Ian kiss at the end of season 4, and then they changed it to them just doing not that.
See, it's about video games, so if they were going to cancel it, they should have just ended it by everybody getting laid off.
Yeah, I mean, that's
You've been purchased by Microsoft. You're all fired.
Ian, no, they do a cut where like Ian's like, I think we're gonna be okay, guys, and then they're all in the unemployment line the next week.
Nobody
That would
can
be good.
afford to buy our games anymore because of the tariffs.
Oh God.
I wanted to bring that up because I thought that was pretty out there news that they changed the entire ending after the show was canceled.
You know, that never would have happened if James Bond had anything to say about it.
Wait, did George Lucas have something to do with it?
Just a random tauntaun in the
Did he
scene.
just like sneak into the editing booth?
He made Mac more muscular.
Steven Spielberg got in there and put some walkie-talkies in Brad's hands.
Oh man, film and television. What a time to be alive.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to transition back to James Bond, but I couldn't think.
Ready?
I couldn't think.
I got one.
Oh.
I got one. Ready? Who's ready for the Moneypenny spinoff?
That's a good one. I was going to say, I guess movies and television can die another day. Ayo. That day's closer than not.
Yeah.
Can
Moneypenny.
we count those as our dad jokes? Can we not do dad jokes later? Because we just did them.
Moneypenny Origins, a James Bond spin from the world of James Bond. Moneypenny Origins, James Bond 007's secretary. That's the full official title.
When she popped up in this and she was giving him shit, I was like, these motherfuckers are really gonna do a Moneypenny series. they watch the old James Bond's movies and they're like, we like her. What if? What
I don't
if?
Q.
Did you see the way she stapled that? Did you see the way she shot him down?
Q Origins, James Bond's quartermaster, the guy who makes his gadgets from the world of 007, premiering on Amazon Prime. And it's just a guy. It's just a guy in
James down this week.
It's
Find out on
it's
Moneypenny.
just a guy in college learning about science.
You know, we're joking about the ridiculous titles, but I did see a trailer when I was at the movies today for John Wick.
Ballerina from the world of John Wick.
There it is. Yep. And I've got a friend who I play Fortnite with, and he'll text the group chat and he'll say, like, he'll make a sandwich. He'll be like, peanut butter and jelly sandwich from the world of John Wick. And it's just random text like that.
Well,
Nice.
I think it's forget about the future. Let's talk about when they used to make good movies. Let's talk about
Yeah, let's
Goldeneye,
go.
a James Bond saga.
A James Bond. Oh God, stop it. They're gonna put time out. Before I read this description on Wikipedia, by the way, the fact that just about none of these movies are on Amazon or the MGM app is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I had to pirate this movie. this week
Seriously?
because it was nowhere.
I was literally watching it on Amazon Prime.
Is it on Prime now? Because if it is, it
It's
wasn't
on
when
Prime.
I originally
okay.
set it. Let's see.
It was definitely not when we pulled this on the wheel because we looked it up.
Yeah. So if I want it
How
on
long
Prime,
ago did you do it on the wheel?
Last week.
yeah, last
Really?
week. So it was
Yeah.
it's still $2.99 on my end.
Yeah,
Well,
you
yeah.
can,
I mean, I
you can rent
threw
it.
out the $2.99 for it. So
Oh, I
Yeah, no,
pirated
cost-
it.
Oh yeah,
I
you can
would
rent it on.
normally-
You can rent it on Prime. We're saying like they own Amazon. You cannot stream this on Amazon Prime. It's not in their catalog,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. And I swear
Look,
it used
I
to be
do
on
everything.
there. They took it off.
I will do the streaming. I will stream it. Dude, come on.
I own
Sorry,
it.
guys.
I own it on Blu-ray, so I'm safe.
I will stream it. I will rent it for the $3. I will get it on what's my library app, Hoopla. But this one, yeah, the only option was $2.99. And I was just like, what did you spend all that money for? Why is this 30-year-old movie $2.99 when
Nope.
you have just about every other one streaming? Come on.
They used to have this streaming. I know this for a fact. They had almost all of them. They took them off.
I got to agree with you because it's weird to me to have to pay for a movie that already aired on broadcast television, edited for television. Like, why am I paying for this? It aired for free, like over the airwaves. You younger people, if you're watching this or listening to this, yes, television used to be broadcast over radio signals through the air. It was magic.
Well, and it's just the fact that like
Yeah, what did they pay
have,
for?
I think, like I googled this and I couldn't find it, and then I googled a handful of other James Bond movies and I couldn't find it. And the only one that was actually streaming were Spectre and the last one,
No
the
Time to
newest
Die.
one. No time to die.
Yeah,
And
it's just
I
like,
was like, what?
you have a streaming service. You paid like $1 billion for this series, this historic series.
And then you paid another $1 billion to get the Broccoli's out of the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
and you're
like
not.
maybe you gotta
you're
maybe you
not
gotta
gonna
make your money
these,
back.
Yeah, you're
$3
not gonna.
rentals at a time.
You're not gonna
but
make
come
these
on.
available to watch. Like, come on. I'm lucky. I own all of these on Blu-ray. I have a big collection.
Well, and so when
It's
did
in a
No
giant.
No
It's in
Time
a
to
giant
Die?
box.
No Time to Die was 2021, right?
Something like that.
I don't know. I was watching this and I read a bunch of lists after watching it just to like catch back up with Bond. I hadn't really caught up on it because I'm a big fan of the games back in the day. And I was like, are people really like in love with the Bond? Like, are people like sitting there chomping at the bit waiting for the next James Bond movie?
Not really. I kind of think that I'm not saying for me, but as a general sense in society, it kind of seems like Bond is a little played out. And I know a lot of people were disappointed in both Spectre and No Time to Die. I enjoyed them. I think the thing they did with Blofeld and Spectre was a little it was a little too much. They could have left that out and it would have been a fine movie. And then the end of No Time to Die, like, okay, so what does that mean for the character exactly?
It
like,
means he's dead.
right, but like, what are you done? Like, you're not going to make any more, or are you going to do the Money Penny origins from the world of John Wick? What are you doing? Like,
I mean, they're just going to reboot like they always do. But this is the thing. I don't think anyone has ever in history been clamoring for a new James Bond movie. They're just movies that have always been there, that people go to. And you're like, oh, a James Bond movie comes out, I know I'm going to have a good time.
that's true.
I was what was I? I was 10 and I was really excited for Die Another Day. I remember wanting to see that in theaters at the ripe age of 10.
Yeah, it's like does anybody clamor for a new Godzilla, or is it just like, oh hey, there's a new Godzilla, that's going to be pretty damn good?
I think after -1 there might be a little more for it, but where Godzilla is with the Kong, the blending of the peanut butter and the jelly there, people are just like, I guess we'll do another one, but
it's
I'm
just
not
like Bond is
waiting for it.
Bond is one of those things where it's like, it's not an event, but it's like it's always there, and you're like, no matter what's going on, you're like, oh, there's gonna be a James Bond movie eventually, and it's gonna be a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's always there, and now it's gonna be every year. Every year you're getting a new series. We're gonna find the next James Bond in a James Bond themed reality show.
I think they had a James Bond themed reality show,
And it was bad because Amazon has no good idea. What did the broccoli air say about that? She called them? Did she call the executives fucking idiots? Or
yes, she
what
did.
was the quote?
She said they're fucking idiots, and then Jeff Bezos' response was, "I don't care how much it costs, get her out of there."
This woman hates us. Pay her to go away.
Yeah. And look, I can't blame her. She took $1 billion to retire. Good for her, I guess. But
Got out while the getting out's good, because
Yeah.
now we're getting money penny. Let me read this Goldeneye. Let me read the first paragraph here of this Wikipedia. I'll just read the first paragraph here. Goldeneye is a 1995 spy film, the 17th in the James Bond series, produced by Ian Productions and the first to star Pierce Brosnan as the fictional MI6 agent James Bond. Directed by Martin Campbell, it was the first in the series not to use any story elements from the works of novelist Ian Fleming. Goldeneye was also the first James Bond film not produced by Albert R. Broccoli, following his stepping down from Eon Productions and replacement by his daughter Barbara Broccoli, speak of the devil. Along with Michael G. Wilson, although Broccoli was still involved as a consultant producer, it was his final film project before his death in 1996. The story was conceived and written by Michael France, with later collaboration by other writers. In the film, Bond fights to prevent rogue MI6 agent 006, played by Sean Bean, from using a satellite weapon against London to cause a global financial collapse. To which I say, you don't need a satellite to do that anymore.
No, you just need some spray tan and a bad wig.
Oof.
A lot of fun facts in that paragraph I did not know about. I did not know this was not based on any of the books. I didn't know this was Barbara's first go at it without Dad.
It's a pretty good first go.
Pretty good first go.
Yeah.
17th, and you're like, people may like it, they may not. No, they fucking love it. They fucking love you, Barbara.
Yep. Before we get into our likes and dislikes, let us share our dad-approved Letterboxd reviews.
I've got mine right here.
Yeah.
It is from Emma Stefanski, which I think I've had hers before. She seems familiar. And she's not a patron or anything, so poo-poo on that. But surprised the entire franchise didn't implode the second a woman taught Bond the phrase sexual harassment.
That's
Really
I like
good.
that one.
Yeah.
That's
Really
good.
good, Emma. Really good.
I got mine here. This comes to us from Tom, also not a patron or a pro. What are you doing there, Tom? He gave this movie 4 stars and wrote, I know he's got a license to kill, but has he got a license to drive a tank? This is what my dad asked during the film.
He drove it
that's
really
great.
poorly, too.
That's
He was-
great.
He was drifting. I don't think you're supposed to do that in those.
You're not supposed to, but if you could, you
Yeah.
would.
Right?
It's
He's,
right.
Ja-
It's
he's,
just
James,
right.
he's James Bond. He's like, I got to get around these corners.
Exactly.
Really reckless. Really
But they
reckless.
cornered like it was on rails. It was great.
James
Dude,
Bond,
dude,
007, St. Petersburg's Drift.
You expect me not to drift this?
From the world of
No.
John Wick.
I expect you to drive it responsibly, Mr. Bond.
So the one I picked out is from Crash Japko, and he said this cracked me up. He said, surprisingly faithful to the original game. And for those of you who don't know, the game came out in 1997, 2 years after the movie did.
I didn't know there was that big of a gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, they apparently the movie made a ton of money, and they decided, hey, cash grab, let's make a game out of it.
Because they did every Pierce game got movie got a game, I think.
I
This one-
Did it? Yes,
I
you're
thought
right.
Goldeneye
No,
was the only one.
Die Another Day
GoldenEye,
didn't have a
World
game.
Is Not Enough. Die Another Day didn't have a game, but that's because Everything or Nothing was in production at that time, I believe.
Yes, which is essentially
game-
a 5th Brosnan movie.
Because around that time, I think EA had the licensing, and they did like Nightfire and Agent Under Fire, which were like
Pretty good.
originals, not based off of anything, and they were
Yeah.
okay. They weren't GoldenEye, but they were okay.
Yeah.
And then I think EA re-upped, and then we got
Everything. or Nothing.
Everything or Nothing, followed by their version of From Russia with Love, and then
Yes.
they let it lapse after that.
Those were good games. That From Russia with Love
The
game
Bond-
is good.
The Bond games surprise from GoldenEye up till From Russia with Love, which actually might be the last one, aside from all the times they tried to redo GoldenEye. Pretty good.
I mean, the GoldenEye remake that they did for like PS3 is pretty good. There's one.
They did Rogue Agent, GoldenEye Rogue Agent, or whatever it was called.
Yeah, that was on the PS2. I don't know. I never played it. Daniel Craig had like an original third. They tried to give Daniel Craig his own like Everything or Nothing. It's pretty good. It's not as good as Everything or Nothing, but it's fine.
I think they did do a Quantum of Solace game.
They did. That was not bad either, actually.
You just love all these Bond games.
Bond games are like Bond movies. Even when they're not good, they're pretty good.
They're fun. They're fun.
That's fair.
Bond is like pizza. It's still pizza at the end of the day.
That's
They should
fair.
Amazon should just stop making the movies and just be like, we're just gonna make Bond video games now.
Just remake Everything or Nothing.
And you know who should do the next Bond game? Give it to the team that just did the Indiana Jones game.
They're making a Bond game. The Hitman people.
Oh, Vivendi, yeah, the Hitman people. I forgot they're doing that. So
Yeah,
we are getting a Bond game.
Because they
soon.
announced it like 10 years ago.
Yeah, they were like, we're done with Hitman, and then they continued to work on Hitman.
Yeah, we're done with Hitman. We're making a Bond game. But by the way, we're still working on Hitman. and the Bond game's not coming out for at least half a decade. But
When I think they were working on it before Amazon got everything, so I'm sure Amazon came in and they're like, "This is awful. Where's Moneypenny? Where's Moneypenny? Why doesn't she have a gun?"
Hitman from the world of 007.
And John Wick.
I do love that Goldeneye is basically James Bond's Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
Basically,
it's James Bond's Skyrim.
even the like the casual players, like you'll hear people who don't game at all be like, "Hey, you know, I really fucked with Goldeneye back in the day. Why can't they make games like Goldeneye anymore?"
And you know what? I think it's well deserved. This movie owns.
This is a really good movie.
Yeah,
Even if the music is off, even if the music is just off by a decade in the beginning of it.
well, it was the 90s.
It's the 90s.
The theme song makes up for it. Goldeneye.
Goldeneye. I'm sorry, I should have been singing this the entire time. Do we want to get into our positivity, negativity sandwiches?
Yes, let's get into our criticism sandwich because we must
There it is.
we must critique the movie, and all dads love sandwiches. Let us start with our ups.
Brian, do you have a favorite sandwich? Just to
Favorite sandwich.
Ooh, I should add that to the questionnaire.
Okay, let me ask you. Are we counting open-faced sandwiches?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So my current favorite is, I don't even know what the hell it's called. It's something that my daughter introduced me to, and she found it on TikTok. Basically, it's Texas toast with some roast beef and au jus, and you top it with a layer of pepper jack cheese, and it is freaking amazing.
You had me at pepper jack cheese. I don't know what it is. The older I get, I don't look at cheese anymore unless it's pepper jack cheese. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's so good.
For me, it's got to be pepper jack or like super sharp cheddar. Like the sharper, the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm just like when I'm making like jalapeno poppers and like putting some cheese. Like when I'm melting cheese, I'm like, no, this has to be pepper jack. I don't know. Something has happened in my brain the last few years. Besides standing and just watching movies or watching shows, I now also only eat pepper jack and the sharp cheddars, as you say. And
yep.
I'm happy to be on this side of it because I was eating some shit cheese back in the day.
I think we all were. Those were dark days.
My Kraft single slices out of the plastic. The single slices. I'm glad when you asked if open face counts. I thought you were going to ask if hot dogs count because we're not going to be one of those other. We're not going to be another podcast that has that argument about if hot dogs are sandwiches. It's a hot dog. It's on bread. Grow up.
Fair.
Is a Pop-Tart sandwich?
No, a Pop-Tart is ravioli.
Really? You know what I used to do when I was at my fattest? When I was at my fattest, I used to take. We'll get to Goldeneye in a minute. But I used to the cookies and cream Pop-Tarts. I would put them in the toaster. I would do one or two, depending how fat I was feeling at the time, and I would take peanut butter and spread it on the bottom non-frosted side, and either fold it over or stack them, and make like a Pop-Tart peanut butter sandwich.
Oh my god!
And then go through the day wondering why I have diarrhea and am 280 pounds in college.
Just as you're taking a bite of your Pop-Tart PB&J, oh, why do I feel like shit?
Why do I feel it? What is going on?
Just in between bites, why am I such a fat pig?
Mid-tier, I just start eating more of it. I don't know what's going on. I felt fine yesterday.
Oh, why do I hate myself? This definitely needs a third tier.
No, Goldeneye. This is a good ass movie.
This is a very good movie.
A third tier.
Let's
let Brian kick us off with our likes because he is the guest.
Right. Okay. So honestly, I'm with you, Nick. For likes, I loved the tank chase through St. Petersburg, Russia, just destroying buildings. I mean, yeah, they were cardboard and paper mache buildings, but still, they were destroying buildings, running this tank through them. Which I I would guess that realistically, the body of the tank could probably take that kind of punishment, but I don't know about the barrel. I think the barrel would just like snap off. But I'm not 100% positive. I'm not, I wasn't a tank driver in the military, so I have no freaking idea. But it just seems to me like that would be the weak point. But I still love that chase scene, and I love the destruction and the cars blowing up for no apparent reason, other than they, just had some pyrotechnics they had to get rid of. Goldeneye, a Michael Bay production, but
he was on the set next door giving them those.
He was. Actually, he probably cut his teeth on Goldeneye. That's what it was. But he was the pyrotechnics technician. But yeah, that was one of my, just the action sequences in general were just so over the top. And from a filmmaking standpoint, just on a technical level, the stuff that they had to do to pull those off were pretty amazing to me. Because now that I'm not bragging here, I'm just saying this was the delineation. But now that I've been through film school, I look at movies in a whole different way. And when I see, any kind of special effects, especially practical effects, in my head, I immediately start trying to break them down and how did they do this and how did they make it look like this? And it's just, and that's what I was doing on this film. And so much of it, because it was the 90s, are pretty much all of it are practical effects, because it's before CGI. So they did a lot as far as the action in this movie, and I loved every minute of it.
There's so many good, and I was texting Matt while I was watching this, but there's so many good miniatures throughout the movie. So when they, like the first one, I think when they blow up the facility after 006 dies, I'm air quoting really hard.
Yep.
Like they pull out, and you can tell it's a miniature. Like if you really look at it, you're like, it's a miniature, but it's a really good miniature. Yeah, and they do it a lot with the runaway train as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
and it's so good. The satellite's another one.
The satellite facility, when it EMP and it blows up and a plane crashes, just all in the span of 10 seconds. You're like, it's like I'm looking at it like seeing like, okay, I've seen 1,000 movies, I've been to film school, I know that's a miniature, but that's a good looking miniature. Okay,
I have a serious question. I have 2 film school graduates here. I never went.
Yeah.
Are they shooting? This is going to probably be a stupid question. Is it a small camera? Are they using a super small camera to shoot that? Or is it a normal camera?
No, a normal camera.
It's a normal camera. You just zoom in. Yeah. It's all camera.
Because anytime there's a miniature in anything, I'm like, man, that must be a really small camera. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, but and there's
they're normal film cameras, normal movie cameras.
Wow.
And
movies are magic.
But you're right. Everything they did, there's like, I can count on like 2 fingers, like the CGI. And it's like, yeah, that guy, they really did have a stuntman just jump after that plane.
Yeah.
Off the,
that was
right,
so cool.
Off the facility. And they did just have a stuntman bungee jump off the dam. And it's a great bungee jump, man.
We don't do it anymore.
Yeah. And I know you were saying, he's crashing through paper mache buildings, but like, at least he's crashing through something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I watch even movies I like modern movies. I'm like, what is that? Like they're not in a real space. I got to be honest though. I'm kind of okay with that, especially my number one thing on set is safety. Everything revolves around safety, and if I can get over a little bit of wonky CGI if it means that they kept the cast and the crew safe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. But like, I'm thinking like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Argyle.
No, I have not seen that yet.
I don't think anyone's seen the movie Argyle. That's the one I'm thinking of.
I saw the movie Argyle. I saw it in theaters. And every action scene in that movie looks bad. Like atrociously bad.
Like, is it like bad? Like, these people aren't in the same room doing this thing, or is it like, they're definitely not they're not like in a cave, waterfall, whatever?
It's like
is it the stuff going on around the fight, or is the choreography just really bad? Or
there's a lot of the action is like they clearly filmed this in like a backyard in front of a green screen. Which,
oh God.
And like you're right, like yeah, if you can do it safe and it looks good, great. But like, I don't know, I'm watching Goldeneye, I'm like, clearly they did it safely and made it look good because they did it, they crashed through their paper mache, they used their miniatures, they had a stuntman safely jump, off that motorcycle towards the plane. And you watch like a modern spy movie like Argyle, and God, there's a scene near the end of Argyle where they're like the floor is covered in oil and they're sliding around on the oil. And nobody's getting covered in oil because there's no oil there, and they're not in they're not in a real room, and they're not doing anything. And you're just like, what am I watching? I'm watching a video game cutscene, and then you go and watch Goldeneye, made almost 30 years ago, and you're like, oh, he's crashing through the streets of St. Petersburg in a tank, and it looks like he really is, even though he's crashing through a built set.
Yeah, like especially that very first scene with the tank where the car that they're in like drifts around the corner, and then you're seeing the car head on, and then behind it is a wall, and the tank just comes flying through the wall, just bricks flying everywhere. That was absolutely fantastic.
And I think too, like he crashes through the wall in the tank, and he drifts in the tank, and then you see his face, and then the Bond theme kicks in like for the first real time in the movie, and that's such a money shot too. Just like crashes through the wall in a tank, and you're like, fuck, man, that's what the movies.
This is a fucking movie. This one also has a really large cast. I don't remember any Bond film really having this big. Like, is this? Am I right here? Well, you guys probably know better than I do, but the few I've seen, it didn't feel like there were this many. Like, because you've got Grigorovich, you've got Boris, you've got Natalia, you've got Xenia, you've got James, you've got Alec.
It is a pretty large cast, but I'm not really sure how it compares to other Bond movies.
I don't know if it's necessarily bigger, because Bond movies always have a lot of people in them, but just in terms of like characters played by people who are like, oh hey, it's that person, then maybe.
Well, everyone has something to do. Like nobody feels wasted, which I appreciate. I always feel like in these types of movies where there's a lot of people, there's that one or two characters that like maybe have a scene and then they're dead or they're gone for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, because you got Judi Dench as M, first time.
Yep,
great.
Great, amazing. I actually kind of wanted more of her.
Yeah, you got Sean Bean, who dies twice. Incredible.
I think is that a callback to a You Only Die Twice?
No, just if you have Sean Bean in a movie, he's got to die. And this movie was like, we're gonna kill him twice.
You only die twice,
right? You got Alan Cumming. You got Famke Janssen.
That's two X-Men right there.
Yeah, you got Robbie Coltrane.
Yep. You got in like 30-second scene, you've got Minnie Driver doing the absolute worst version of Stand By Your Man that you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. I would be cheering if I were in that bar with her. Stand by your man. I was sitting there trying to spell the way she was saying man, and I couldn't figure it out.
M-A-H-N.
Man.
Man.
My name is Man.
She was
Stand by your man.
She was saying man in a Jamaican accent while doing a Russian accent.
That's not wrong. It's wrong, but it's not incorrect.
Yeah. But yeah, this is like, I don't know if it's like the biggest Bond cast, but it's definitely in terms of just like those are just full of like, hey, it's that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know he died, by the way.
It definitely was a big film as far as future stars being in it. So there's definitely that.
Yeah. And speaking of the cast, Xenia Onatopp and Boris and Sean Bean, who I'm not going to call him by his villain name. I'm just going to call him Sean Bean.
That is his villain name.
That's such a great trio of villains.
It really is.
Like,
put some respect on who's the colonel? Grigorovich.
Grigorovich is good.
Orlov. Oramov.
Is it
Or, I'm
Ormov?
sorry, or yeah, Grigorovich Oramov. Like he's a very good like mini boss.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like how he kind of becomes an alcoholic halfway through the movie.
Yeah,
That's a funny
I like
bit.
when he's leading them. I think it's in the
I mean-
facility, and he's like being very tipped. Like I don't know, his movement's just very goofy. Whereas everyone else
would
was like
honestly-
up.
I can't blame him for that because if somebody stole a tank and rode it through the city of St. Petersburg on my watch, I would instantly become an alcoholic too.
Yeah, I love how he just
Like,
he
fuck it,
starts
I'm
drinking.
done.
He starts drinking from his flask while he's being chased in the tank. It's a good
Oh yeah,
bit.
definitely. I mean, I
Yeah.
would definitely be drinking if
Yeah.
a tank were chasing me.
But he's great. But like just just like that trio specifically are such like a great trio because like Bond movies a lot of time will live and die by who's the villain, who's the henchman, and this movie has some great like Xenia Onatopp is just a top tier like henchwoman. Boris is such a great like little mini like nerdy like he's no threat to Bond whatsoever, but he's just like there as a bad guy and he's so memorable. I am invincible. Like it's so quotable. And Sean Bean is great as just like an evil James Bond almost.
Yep.
Yeah, with Boris is just so much fun. Like the hacking with him just like simply typing in Spike.
Yeah.
I was like, sure.
Dude, the depiction of hacking in the 90s, actually all the way up into the 2000s, just like, wow, it's basically just like, I don't know if my mic will pick this up, but it's like,
Yeah, just random typing.
yeah.
I will.
It's like,
I
yeah,
will say this. I'll take Boris just typing the word Spike with like a caricature picture of himself over just I'm in.
I'm in.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I did like the little cartoons for
Yeah.
everybody.
I love to. He's clearly. I don't know if that counts as sexual harassment. Just sending somebody like, oh, I've changed the password, and also here's a caricature picture of you in a bra.
Now it is.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah. And the password is knockers.
Yeah.
He meant door knockers. Okay.
Sure.
HR can't put nothing on him there. No.
He's just
I
a
do
young
love that-
Frankenstein fan.
I do love that he's a hacker, and the point is to try and stay anonymous. But anytime he hacks or he's messaging someone, his little cartoon caricature is there.
Yeah.
So you're doing a great job, Boris. You're staying
he's
very
just-
below the
He's
radar.
just so cocky. He's just so goofy. I love him. Just, I am invincible. Immediately dies.
I
Yeah.
like to think he didn't die from that. I think he's still frozen, just waiting to be unfrozen.
But yeah, like he's such a good little. And even Hagrid, Robbie Coltrane as the ex KGB current like mob boss club owner. Great.
Was that his
Oh,
first
yeah.
appearance?
Yeah, he was
Think
in the.
so.
I don't remember if he was in Tomorrow Never Dies or The World Is Not Enough, but he did appear one
He
other
was-
time.
He dies in The World Is Not Enough. He dies in one of them. He does
He
die
di-
in one of them. I forget which
Yeah.
one.
But yeah, he's great too. Just a slimy Russian gangster.
I like the
Yeah.
little backstory, like, oh, a Russian gangster with a limp. It's like, yeah, how do you know? I'm the one who gave him the limp.
Yep.
Great, just a great line.
Yeah, it's just full of just.
I'm going to be honest with you. When he was sitting there in the club talking about my knee aches every single day, man, I felt that. I absolutely felt that.
He spoke to me directly.
Yeah. Yeah, just a great
I
little,
am
just a-
Valentin Sukovsky.
just a great gaggle of goons in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Joe Don Baker's in this as Jack Wade, the CIA guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's there for a few minutes, but like he chews up the scenery and then he gets out.
yeah. This is like I think his second or third Bond movie
Mm-hmm.
as just different characters all the time. He played a villain in one of them, but just
Yeah. Can we also talk about the woman playing Moneypenny being named Samantha Bond? Like, is that how she got it? Is that how she
Yeah.
got it? Oh,
Yeah.
your name's Bond. Hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna put you in.
the president of Nintendo is named Doug Bowser. That's also how he got the job.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Was she in? Yeah, she was in all four with Brosnan. She got to keep it with Brosnan. Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for you,
Okay.
Bond.
Yeah, just the Brosnan era really was really good with just filling them with character actors. Like Michael Madsen's in one of them.
Yeah.
He's in. Is he in?
I think it's Die Another Day, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. seriously, this is my first Bond in a while. Like, I think the last one I watched was Skyfall, and that was probably, I think we're coming up on 10 years on that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good one. It's a really good one. Did I mention Xenia Onatopp?
Yes,
you did mentioning
Can
her.
I mention her again? Can I mention her
You
again?
said that she took your breath away, and
I'd like her to take my breath away.
I know I grossly quoted the dying admiral, but Xenia, I can't breathe, and I'm about to come.
Yes, that was the exact line. It was perfectly done. Well done, Nick.
He was more worried about the cream pie.
Look.
Did you notice when he fell out of the closet though? He's like,
yeah,
big old smile on his face.
Yeah, when Bond
when
Bond finds his dead body, he's got it's almost like he got Joker gassed, but he didn't, because we know what happened to. We know what happened to him. It's just the biggest smile anyone's ever had, and you know what? Makes sense.
I do love the way James escapes her grip is by dropping her on hot coal in the sauna.
Yeah. That was great. Literally.
I love when he kills her by essentially strangling her, because like she's hooked up to the helicopter, and he shoots it down and it crashes, so she gets hung up in the trees and just chokes. He goes, "She always did love a good squeeze." That's what the movies are about, man.
Oh, quipping about killing a person.
Honestly, the one line I love too was when they were in that sauna scene, the sauna fight scene, right before the fight started. She like got right up real close to him, like she was gonna kiss him, and he goes, "That's far enough."
It's the most deadpan. That's far enough. Basically in his throat.
Not one step closer.
Don't you do it.
Nick, do you want to say anything else before we get into our negatives?
I've only got one negative, but yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. I have two negatives, but one is kind of nitpicky.
Picky little bitch.
I will start with the nitpicky one, because it is very nitpicky, and I wrote this down, and the more I read it on my notes here, the more I'm like, does that really matter? But I wrote it, so I'm going to read it. And I don't know why the general is aligned with Sean Bean, and it's never explained, and it kind of makes no sense.
He just wants to be bad. He just wants to be bad for a little bit. He just wants to be
I'm just
bad.
like, the whole movie, I'm watching this movie the whole time, I'm thinking, why does he work for him again? And I'm just never given an answer.
They don't really cover it.
Yeah, like, was he in on it from the beginning? Did they fake the death? Like, I was just like, why do they work together?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
And just because, like, part of Bean's backstory, which is one of my other downs, but I'll get into that later, is like he wants revenge because his parents were turned over to the Soviets after World War II. I'm like, so why are you working with a Soviet general?
Yeah, shouldn't you hate this man?
Yeah, so it's like, it just doesn't make sense. So the whole movie, I'm like, why do they work together? And the movie never told me, and I'm like, okay, can I make it up in my head in a way that makes sense? And I'm just like, no, there's no way that this makes sense other than let's keep in the general because he's fun, which is fine.
Okay.
I thought this movie needed a little more M. I like M. I like how she basically has the training wheels on 007. She's like, you can't get involved. I don't want you doing anything. And then he's like gung ho to go out and get revenge. And she's like, I forget. I've been looking for the line. I can't find it. But she's like, I don't want you to die, you fucking dipshit. Basically being the mom.
I do like when she calls him out, essentially, for like being a shitbag, because let's face it, James Bond is a bit of a shitbag, and she calls him out.
He's not a bit of a
she calls him out on it, right? She's like, you're a misogynistic, sexist dinosaur, like a relic of the Cold War, and they kind of never follow up on that.
I had to stop the movie and be like, what? When the fuck was this made again?
Yeah.
And now that I know the Barbara like attachment, I'm like, oh, this is her like taking the helm from her dad and being like, no, you're fucking old, dude.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, James Bond. And then there's a dig at the American government early on, and I actually have this quote up here from M. James Bond, are these pictures live? Unlike the American government, we prefer not to get our bad news from CNN. It's like, yes, I want more of this. Fucking go. I want her at the comedy shop. I want her up at the mothership in Austin. I want to hear her comedy.
There's a reason when they rebooted it, they kept Judi Dench.
Yeah, she's
That's
so
very
good.
true. Yeah, she was excellent. All right, I guess it's my turn, huh?
Yep.
For my dislike, I have two as well. The first one was just it. Both of these dislikes are kind of, like you said, nitpicky, Matt. And it's a movie that was made in the 90s, so every freaking movie had these two things. The first one was, so when they're in the archive and they're trying to escape, right before he climbs in the tank, it's James and Natalia, and the guys are all the Russian soldiers are all down on the lower level, and they're on the upper level, and it's like a graded catwalk almost. And he's got the machine gun, and he's like just shooting through the floor, killing everybody, right? But the guys that are shooting at them up through the floor can't hit them, to say that it's like they went to the stormtrooper school of shooting. And you see the squibs going off everywhere around them, and that was just a little like, okay, first of all, it's too many squibs. Second of all, you got too many guys shooting at them for any of them, and for none of the bullets to hit. Like, just the law of averages, they would have to get hit. Again, nitpicky, I know, whatever. And I think my second, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That, I will say, it is nitpicky, but what I will say in defense of it is that scene in particular is like a huddle of men shooting in the same direction at the same time, all missing. Which is, like, it's one thing to be like, well, Bond is taking cover, all the bad guys are scattered, and they're shooting and they're missing. They're literally all in a huddle, shooting 2 feet in the air, can't hit a dime.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one was in any scene where they did the hand-to-hand combat, there was a whole lot of editing, and I understand that's because they had to swap out one person for a stunt person, and this, that. I just, again, it was a 90s movie, so it's going to have that. That's really it. Those are my only two negatives on this movie.
Yes. I did have one more. And this is probably just James Bond in general, but I always hate like the cut to like late second act, early third act, where they're going to a new location and James and the Bond girl are dressed like they're on their honeymoon. I think they're in Cuba at this point for this one, and Natalia's like in the passenger seat just looking at James all dreamy. I'm just like, you're gonna go save the world. What the fuck are you doing?
I mean, have you seen Pierce Brosnan? He is quite dreamy.
He is very dreamy man, but he's taken.
Yeah, he's taken. He loves his wife.
Good man. Good man.
You know what? You just reminded me of a third. I'm sorry. I got to hit this one. The scene where they do the racing scene through the mountains, where he's racing with Famke Janssen in the Ferrari.
Yeah.
And the other woman is sitting next to him, and she's supposed to psychologically evaluate him. And they get done with this race down the mountain, and he pops open the center console, and there's a chilled bottle of champagne there. And this entire ride, she is like terrified, like that she's going to die. And then she sees the bottle of champagne and she's like, "Oh, James, like, come on now." Women don't work that way. People don't work that way. This woman was terrified for her life. She's going to get out of that car and write the most scathing review of him and submit it immediately to M and tell M to get rid of this MFer right now.
I mean, maybe if one of us did that, but he's Pierce Brosnan.
I love how fucked up Q and his little lab are for putting a chiller in there for the champagne.
Oh,
like, what do you need this? Like, are they like? Is this just a sexist work? Is this a hostile work environment?
I bet you.
Probably.
I bet you Q made that for something else, like something useful in the field. And James was like, "I'm gonna put champagne in here. I'm gonna use it to seduce people."
That's probably it.
My
That's gonna be a demerit, James.
my only other down is also kind of nitpicky. But so Sean Bean's reason for turning evil in this movie, he explains it to James, and it's too overcomplicated because he has the perfect villain motivation, and he says it right away. He's like, yeah, the government, they take us in and they spit us out and blah 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 and all that, and that's a good villain motivation for essentially for essentially dark James Bond.
Right.
And then they got to add in this thing where it's like, no, actually, it turns out he's the son of Nazi sympathizers who were turned over to the Soviets after World War II and killed, and he wants revenge on the British. And it's like, what? Like,
I mean, didn't they kind of? I think they kind of fixed this. Like, wasn't Javier Bardem kind of the same in Skyfall? Like, hey, they chew us up and spit us out. That's why I'm
yeah.
turning on it. Like, I'm a turncloak.
Yeah, he was the same, and that time they didn't give him, like something else. I'm just like, what?
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's like pick one. If you're gonna, like, it's
to be honest with you, Javier Bardem, his character's motivation was solid because it's like, yeah, I got caught and I was supposed to bite down on a cyanide capsule and I did, and instead of killing me, it disfigured me. Like,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, I would be pretty pissed at that too.
Yeah,
I'd be taking MI6 out at that point. Yeah, you know what?
Right, and Sean Bean has like the perfect reason to be mad also because he's on this mission, he's working for his country. His partner sets the explosive timer 3 minutes early, right? So he essentially goes up in flames. He's disfigured, so he's also got the perfect like, oh yeah, my country left me for dead. They don't care about me. You set the timer 3 minutes early. Didn't even try to save me. Fuck you all. Yeah. Right now, I want revenge against the British. Right?
I don't blame James for that. His buddy got shot in the head. Like I would do I would do the same thing.
I just want y'all to know real quick, everybody listening, that I am doing my audition for Blofeld right now.
Yeah,
he's up.
Yeah, sure. We might not have a problem with James doing that, but like Sean Bean has a perfect excuse to turn evil. He's like, yeah, you set the timers too early. The government left me for dead. They didn't care. Blah 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 blah. And then they got to throw in, but also his parents were Nazi sympathizers, and they let him in MI6 anyway, and he actually wants revenge. And it's like what? Like why? Did he always want revenge on the British, or just after they left him for dead? Like what are you doing? Like I
just think it's better if you watch this movie and just assume he's evil. Like the second time through, you just assume he's evil the whole time. It makes it a better movie.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I do.
It just bugs me that they had the perfect like villain motive for him as like a perfect foil, and it's just like, no, but let's also throw in this for no reason. That's rarely followed up upon.
The reveal of him being the bad guy is still great, though.
Yeah.
Still an amazing like midpoint twist.
Anyway, that's it. So we're all out of dislikes. We can start talking good things again because this movie rules. And yeah, it's
so cheesy. It's so campy.
Yeah, but it's so good. It's so good.
It's great,
and I love it. I love it for it. Even the what is this disco music or the funk they play with the chase down the mountain that feels like it was from a movie 20 years prior.
Yep.
I was like, okay, all right.
Like movie was made in the 90s, but the music's from the 1960s.
It's so good. And we haven't singled him out yet, but Brosnan is a great Bond.
He is.
Agreed.
I want to go back before we gush over Brosnan. I want to go back to the bikers in that mountain scene when Xenia cuts back over and then nobody is near him. These bikers are so fucking extra. The one like trips and they all trip.
Like and they go down like dominoes.
Yeah, you were fucking safe. It was just the one. Don't blame Xenia. She does a lot of fuck up shit in this movie. You got one guy who can't fucking ride a bike properly, dressed like fucking Han Solo. Fucking who's the guy who cheats in bike racing?
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong. You got one guy who wants to be Lance Armstrong, can't even ride a fucking bike. Sorry, I had to shit on that guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
That might have been the director. I know one of the bikers was Martin Campbell.
What a piece of shit! Can't ride a bike.
But yeah, Brosnan is so good. I think he's a much better Bond than he gets credit for. I don't know why people don't rank them highly. I guess because they really dislike Die Another Day. And it's like we were saying earlier, the Brosnan era, I think, is going to age much better than its reputation would have you believe. Because everybody ranks them low. Yeah.
I got a question for y'all. So I don't know if you're aware, but the whole reason they actually wanted Pierce Brosnan to be Bond earlier, but
Yes.
what was it? BC, whoever was doing Remington Steele would not let him do movies on the side and wouldn't let him out of the contract. He had to finish out his contract.
Well,
at Remington
he actually got because they canceled Remington Steele. Then they cast him as James Bond. Then they uncanceled Remington Steele, and they were like, "You can't do James Bond."
Right.
Which is such a shitty rug pull.
It really is, and it's like, okay, but first of all, to me, you canceled the show, so that lets me out of the contract. If you want me back in the show because you're bringing it back, then that's a whole new contract, kids, and that contract is going to include I get to do James Bond in the off season.
I will say that for me at least, that is a catch-22 because it did deprive us of more Brosnan Bonds. But
that was what my question was going to be: is do you think we would have had like maybe a 20-year run of Brosnan as James Bond?
I think we would have at least had 2 or 3 more Brosnan movies. But yeah, to me that's a catch-22 because yes, we would have had a few more Brosnan movies, and maybe he'd be looked upon for as good as he was. But at the same time, would we have gotten a Goldeneye? I don't know.
Would he have done the 2 Timothy Dalton movies? Would those have been essentially Brosnan movies at that point?
Probably. And you know what? I like the Dalton movies. They're pretty good.
He wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad. He was pretty. I mean, he wasn't the best, but he was fine. The movies themselves are really like License to Kill in particular is really good.
Yeah.
I need to go watch some old Bond. It's been a while.
Yeah. I mean, would those movies be better with Brosnan? Probably.
The only thing about the Dalton movies, and I'm not really saying that this is a bad thing, but they went really over the top with the action sequences. Like they were having tractor trailers doing wheelies and they were really over the top. And I mean, it was getting into like the kind of ridiculosity as the later Fast and Furious movies. I mean, that's really.
Well, I think there's this, I don't know the exact saying, but there's like a saying that goes like, if you want to know what the general like climate is for action movies of an era, watch a Bond film from then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so the Dalton movies really do kind of distill the 80s action movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's so good. I think he's like, and again, this, I don't know why people don't like, I can understand why they don't like Die Another Day, even though I like Die Another Day.
Die Another Day is amazing. They're wrong.
It's very fun. It's very fun.
It's so stupid. It's
absolutely agree.
But I can understand why they don't like that one. I don't know why they don't like Tomorrow Never Dies and The World's Not Enough. Those are bangers. Those are good.
The World Is Not Enough was fantastic.
Yeah, man. Like
really good.
Brosnan to me, he's like a perfect amalgamation of the best qualities of all the Bonds.
Yep.
Because he can be serious Bond. He can be suave Bond. He can be quippy Bond. He can do it all.
Yep.
And he does it all in this movie, and it's great. And I don't know, he's so good. And I don't know, people don't rate him as highly as they should. I think to me, like if I close my eyes and picture James Bond, I picture Pierce Brosnan.
Same. I still do. And it's also crazy that all of his movies came out in like a 2-year window. Like Goldeneye came out, when was that? 95. Tomorrow Never Dies was 97. World Is Not Enough 99. Die Another Day bucked that. It was 2002, but still they were pumping them out at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were, I mean, which to me says they were really comfortable with Brosnan. They were like, okay, we got this. Let's get it out. Let's get it out to him. Because I mean, hell, you get Goldeneye 95. You have to imagine Tomorrow Never Dies is written by 96. Yep. Well, no, it's written as Goldeneye is coming out, and they're filming almost back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I love him.
Whereas you get to Craig's, and all of them are like, well, his are a little long. The windows are a little longer, but I think
That's not
they're being a
entire.
little cuter.
There is a
It's
lot.
not entire. You got the strike in 2008 that Quantum of Solace, faltered with, and then anything that was going to come after that was going to be delayed, and then
they had the whole MGM's going to go bankrupt thing.
yeah.
Then they had the whole, does Daniel Craig really want to slit his wrists instead of doing another movie?
Because he wanted out after Skyfall, right? He had just done Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. He wanted to do other stuff, if I remember correctly.
I think he was ready, and they pulled him back in. Then they pulled him back in, and then he was ready to leave again. Then they pulled him back in one last time because they're like, just finish it. And he's like, okay, but you got to kill me.
He's like, look, I just want to do these Knives Out movies for the next 10 years. Can you please fuck off already?
Is that why he didn't do The Girl in the Spider's Web? Because the conflict with James Bond, or
I don't.
Well,
know.
what your Spider's Web's come because they did that first movie and then they didn't do the rest of them, right?
yeah.
Until
Well,
it was like a big gap.
Did that movie do well enough to get a sequel?
Yeah, probably not.
No, it didn't.
That's probably but you could tell by Skyfall, Craig was like, I want to do other stuff. He was weird.
He was very over it. Yeah, let's see. I forgot he was in Cowboy and Aliens.
That was a good one. I like
that movie.
I still haven't seen it. So he was a very busy boy in 2011. One Life, Cowboys and Aliens, Dream House, The Adventures of Tintin, Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, The Organ Grinder's Monkey. So here I'm looking for the sequel movie. So it did eventually get a sequel.
Did it? A sequel or a reboot?
Because they did. This was based off the Swedish. Because they did all the movies in Sweden, I believe.
Yeah.
This is all 10 plus years ago. So I'm banking off of memory here. I'm looking for sequel information. Here we go. Dragon Tattoo film series. There's Spider's Web. Came out 20. Okay, so it didn't come out that far away. It was like 7 years. Let me see if they say anything about Craig here. Craig.
Oh, no. I remember that when they made the sequel, they slashed the budget in half.
Oh,
so
they
couldn't
afford him. Okay.
Yeah, they got rid of Rooney. They got rid of Daniel Craig. They got rid of David Fincher. They were just like, "Hey, we're cleaning house here."
So that's a sequel. I thought that was like a reboot because it was everybody was different. So I was like, "Oh, they redid it again."
Nope.
They got Claire Foy, and then who's Severe Gundens? I sure, sure, guys. I guess if that's who you want to bank the sequel on, go ahead.
you can tell. You watch any Daniel Craig movie like post Skyfall, pre Spectre, and you can tell he's having so much fun in everything. And then Spectre comes along, and he's like, "This guy's bored."
Yeah.
This guy's so bored. Like, watch Logan Lucky, and then watch Spectre, and you're like, "This is a different actor."
This man is just and that's where he got the accent. The accent is in Knives Out is so good because he's just hamming it up, and he's like, I don't have to be a mopey like MI6 agent anymore. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. I love him. Absolutely love him as Benoit. Absolutely fantastic. I hope he does 8 more Knives Out movies.
Yeah, I think he said he'll make them until Rian Johnson stops making them, which he said he hopes never happens. So just keep doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, I like him. And I think what was the second one? Glass Onion. I think Glass Onion's aged really well too.
Yep.
It's only like 3 years old at this point, but I think it's aged quite finely.
It will continue to age finely.
What's really hilarious about that is Rian Johnson swears up and down that he did not write that character with any particular person in mind, Ed Norton's character. And I'm just like, really? Nobody influenced that character at all.
I'm sure no one specific person influenced that character.
I mean, exactly.
I'm sure they also say that to avoid the heat. Like the showrunner of Daredevil Born Again was like, Kingpin is not based off. We didn't do it. It's not Trump, but it's Trump.
It's yeah.
Gotcha. I haven't seen any of the Born Again yet.
He's the mayor.
Yeah.
I don't think that's spoiled.
Mayor Kingpin.
They do that very early. Mayor.
Yeah, I mean that happened in the comics. So
there's a bunch of There's a bunch of dirty cops with Punisher tattoos.
I'm still laughing about that.
The
We'll talk about that
irony.
later, Matt.
Yeah.
Well, it's Mr. Punisher, my hero.
I love what happens to them when they meet the
You know what?
Punisher.
I even commented on it on Blue Sky because somebody said, well, Punisher got really good when he became ACAB. I'm like, Punisher was always ACAB. What are you talking about?
Yep.
Even like I remember playing the Spider-Man game from I think it was 2000. I'm pretty sure, he was ACAB in that too, and I was way too young to know what that was back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, from his inception in the comic books, he was ACAB. That was his whole characters. There was even like in the comics, there was even one panel where he ran into a couple of cops and they were just like, "Oh, we're such big fans of yours," and blah blah blah, and this that. And he's like, "I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Leave me alone."
He in the show. This isn't a spoiler, but in the show when he finally meets all his fanboy cops, he's like, "You're a bunch of clowns," you know that?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful scene. It was probably my favorite scene in that one episode.
Good old John Bernthal.
Make him Bond. Make him the next Bond.
He's too busy.
You think I give a shit of what M says? You think I give a shit?
He's too busy being the accountant's brother. Do we have anything else nice to say about this wonderful movie? Or are we? Is it time to rate it?
Written by Bono.
Yep.
I think it's time to rate it.
Yeah. Goldeneye.
Goldeneye.
I will start with. Let's go Nick first, then Brian, and then I'll end it because I think I probably give this the highest rating.
I give it 4 stars. It's a 4-star Bond romp. It's not Die Another Day, but it's fine.
All right, I'm gonna agree with that. I'll give it 4. It's exactly what you expect out of a Bond film. No more, no less. It's got great action. It's got a decent story. It's got good acting. As Matt said earlier, Pierce Brosnan is, in my opinion, a very underrated Bond. And it had a couple of, honestly, the dislikes for me are just the fact that it was made in the 90s and the technology and the process just wasn't as good as it is nowadays.
Don't give them any ideas, Brian. Amazon will hear this and be like, okay, we're remaking GoldenEye
with AI.
God, you know what? Now Matt's giving them ideas.
No, that was already in their head. As soon as you gave them the idea for a remake, they were like, "Oh, okay, but we got."
Hey, Amazon, remake this podcast with AI.
Oh no,
it might be better.
It'll be a smidgen better. I give this a 4.5. I love this movie. This is a top 5 Bond for me. It's as my dislikes are small quibbles, but it's just so good. Everything is so good. That tank scene alone, I think, just bursting through the wall in a tank, and then the James Bond theme song plays. That's what the movies are about, man. That's why I watch the movies.
We don't have to beat around the bush. This is 100% a dad movie, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think
100%.
every Bond movie is 100% dad movie.
Chase scene alone makes it 100%.
Xenia Onatopp. There you go.
I can't breathe. I better sit down. This gentleman can't breathe.
There's nothing about this movie that dads will not like.
And we could probably say that for every Bond movie. The only time it won't be like 100% dad is when it's Tenpenny, a James Bond workplace comedy.
Felix, the origins of James Bond's sometimes friend, from the saga of 007.
I hate this so much because you joke, but tomorrow they're going to announce that.
I can't wait for Jeff Bezos to announce that we're going to make a Joker-style movie where people will like the villain of Moonraker. He was just a nice guy who wanted to go to space.
I can't believe that
Jeff Bezos as himself.
I can't believe we have a low tier Bond villain, and he would be, if he were really he would be the lowest of tier Bond villains. He wouldn't be up there with the good ones. But I can't believe we have a low tier Bond villain making Bond movies.
Yep.
And shooting his girlfriend into space with Katy Perry, which kind of sounds like punishment. So you know what? I'm mad at you. You have to go to space with Katy Perry.
Yeah, but you're not you're not really going to space.
No, you're touching the rim of space. You're rimming space.
You're giving space
a
rim job. Rim shot.
What do you guys do? Just rim job in space. We'll be back in like 20 minutes.
Wow.
We're rimming space.
Brian's gonna unfollow me right after this episode.
Yes, and also the whole but you'll be astronauts even though you don't touch any buttons or learn anything or have any kind of engineering degrees or.
I've got 3 words for that whole thing. Oh my goddess!
I can't wait.
Yes.
I can't wait for when one of those things fails.
If the thing you're doing sounds like something that Adam McKay would put into a movie, you're probably not good people.
Yeah. I just it's gonna happen, right? Like one of these days they're gonna shoot some D-lister up into space and it's gonna blow up.
It's gonna be Pauly Shore.
No, please, Kevin Sorbo, please.
It'll be Pauly Shore and Sorbo.
Is Kevin Sorbo D-list or is he like Z-list?
Probably Z-list.
Right
I
on.
know we need to do. I know we need to do our dad jokes and spin the wheel and get out of here. But can we make our dream list? Can we make our dream list of the celebrity shuttle that does blow up real quick?
Oh my god, you're gonna get me in trouble.
Kevin Sorbo.
Sorbo. Pauly Shore.
Sure, Pauly Shore.
Just because it'd be fun.
Kanye West.
Kanye
Yes,
West.
absolutely.
Jim. What's his name? The guy who played Jesus in the Mel Gibson movie.
Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, Jim Caviezel.
I only know that because of the Family Guy bit.
Drake has to be in it. Drake has to be on.
Yeah.
Drake. Can we add is there room up there for Mel Gibson?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All
We can like duct tape him to the top of the rocket.
All right, 2 more. We got 2 more seats.
Okay.
Two more seats.
Gal Gadot.
We do need someone singing up there, so she would sing Imagine.
Imagine all the.
She's in it.
Who else? James Woods?
Is he still alive? I thought he was dead.
I was gonna say he's close anyway. Let's
Okay, we'll let him die of natural causes.
Let's send Rolling up there.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
JK. Perfect. They're all going up there. J.K. Rowling's going, oh my goddess, who is a biological woman. Oh my biological goddess. And then Gal Gadot's over there going, imagine all the.
Did you see the picture of J.K. Rowling that was up there earlier today? She posted a picture of herself sitting on her private yacht, smoking a stogie with a drink in her hand.
I did see this picture.
The caption that she posted was, "I love it when a plan comes together." And I'm just like, baby girl, if you are posting a picture of you sucking on a stogie on your private yacht, you are not the underdog.
Right. And it's disappointing because you got people that I admire. Like, I love Lithgow. Like, Lithgow, I think, has been one of the funnier actors. And for this to potentially be his last role, it's like, what are you doing, dude?
Nick Frost is in that show. Like, what are you doing? Well. Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, like I know it's tough out there. I know people are like clawing for work, but did you really have to sell your soul? Again, I'm being very.
It's tough out there for Nick Frost, star of a very popular and successful trilogy of movies.
Yeah,
but it has the feeling of like early COVID when like the Imagine song, like the people singing Imagine was happening, and I'm sitting here on the internet like you could have just fucked off to your mansion and didn't have to do any of this. Like, stop.
Well, it's the same thing with like being like a really rich, famous rapper DMing minors. Like, you could just not do that.
Exactly.
It's very easy.
People in your age range.
The easiest thing in the world is to not DM minors.
Exactly. And not that we're talking about anybody in particular, but just, in general, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we got there talking about a James Bond movie, though.
Well, because the world is filled with James Bond villains who Pierce Brosnan would kill and then say a quip.
Is he? I hope James is checking all those IDs of those Bond girls.
Well, I know we're done talking about the movie. One last thing. I do love when he kills Sean Bean. Sean Bean's like, for England, James? He's like, no, for me. And he
Me.
drops him 100 feet and he's still alive. And then the satellite crashes on him.
It's a good button. It's a good button line from Brosnan.
I mean, that was a Wile E. Coyote death, if ever there was one.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love when villains just get over the top deaths that they deserve. Like, Nick, do you remember when we did Breakdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, the villain in the movie Breakdown gets a similar death. Like, he falls off of a bridge onto a rock in a river. You're like, oh, he's dead, right? Because he's not a Bond villain. He's just a normal man. And then he's still moving around. He's alive. And then his truck falls on top of him.
Great.
It's like, it's so perfect.
The all timers, the after credits death of the dean and the abusive ex-boyfriend in Old School, when the car swerves off onto the dean fishing on the lake below, and the car just flattens them and the boat disappears underwater with the car.
I love it. I love it when villains get like just over the top deaths that they deserve. James Cameron is really good at doing that.
Because you don't get it in real life, so it's like it feels good to get it somewhere.
Right.
Like there's a scene in Avatar 2 where like one of the whalers just gets like ping ponged around by these giant whales and like just slaughtered, like blown up. And you're like, yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it feels good. Usually it's the innocent character who gets the worst death. Like I think of like the assistant from Jurassic World who like gets picked up by pterodactyls, plunged into the water, and then eaten by the giant.
Yeah. That should have been
Like,
D'Onofrio.
Exactly. But no, they're like, how can we make or the lawyer with the kids in the first Jurassic Park or Eddie, like the nicest the somewhat nicest people in those movies always get like the worst deaths. And you're just like, why couldn't it be these
the lawyer
movies?
in Jurassic Park was not the nicest person.
He was okay. Like he didn't deserve he
was a lawyer.
I'm back on your side.
He was the one talking about, oh, we'll do a coupon day.
I'm back on your side. Your idea is a lawyer. Fuck him.
All right, dad joke time.
All right.
I got mine here. Did you hear that James Bond started going gray? Yeah, turns out he's got no time to die.
Wah, 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 wah.
I've got one. It's my order at McDonald's, the Golden Arches, is a Big Mac with golden fries.
Golden fries.
Nice. All right. So what did James Bond say to the people of St. Petersburg, Russia?
What?
Tanks.
That might be the best dad joke on the show ever.
It's pretty good.
It's up there with the aliens jokes we had.
I apologize.
I'd put that up there. The episode you weren't on, Nick, we had a really good one.
I won't ever know because I'm not going to listen to it because I was kicked off.
It was the tariffs.
I know. And there's a chance I might be gone again.
Speaking of Bond villains, getting back to that, let's talk about our IMDb goofs.
Well, yeah, we kind of got out of order here.
The negative Nancy's of the week. Did we get out of order? I feel like we're in the correct order.
That's fine.
I don't know.
All right, I've got my.
Oh, we are.
I got my negative
order.
Nancy goof here, and it is a mouthful. So bear with me here.
All right.
Okay.
Bear with me. Uniform costume error. The uniform worn by the Russian soldiers in the present day 1995 part of the film after the pre-credit sequence resembles Soviet uniforms rather than the redesigned uniforms of the modern Russian Federation Army. Soviet Union ended in 1991 and the film is clearly set in post-Cold War climate. They are Soviet-style olive green rather than the darker shade of green used today. Orlov's uniform as a general still follows the Soviet design. Soviet shoulder boards, inward-facing gold, leaves on the lapels as opposed to the outward like nowadays. Soviet belt buckle, and he has a Soviet cap badge, red star with a hammer and a sickle. His cap also lacks the Russian Federation coat of arms. This is now worn on the crown of Russian military peaked caps. The only Russian Federation part of his uniform is the patch on his left sleeve. The other Russian soldiers also still wear Soviet cap badges, including Xenia in her leather outfit during the Cyrenaica scenes. The ordinary soldiers in the scenes following the Bond and Natalia's capture after escaping from the helicopter all wear red shoulder boards with CA in yellow letters. These mean Sovietskaya Armia, in parentheses, Soviet Army.
I agreed with this person until they brought Xenia Onatopp into their little rant. How dare you? How dare you besmirch the good name of Xenia Onatop?
She
And
can
her-
wear whatever she wants.
Exactly. Don't you dare besmirch her nice leather outfit.
I gotta be honest. I stopped listening after like the first 3 words.
Exactly.
This person should have stopped typing after the first 3 words. They should have stopped and been like, "Is this worth moments of my life? I don't think it is."
This person finished typing this and then went to some war reenactment of some war we've all never heard of.
Fucking
Exactly.
wardrobe nerds. All right, I got mine here. This
Okay.
person. This person. When Bond is talking to Valentin Zurkovsky and says the line, "They used the chopper to steal a nuclear weapon," he pronounces the word nuclear as nuclear, not the kind of error someone of Bond's sophistication and education would make.
All right. So, first of all, that is one of my pet peeves as well. But I wouldn't spend 5 to 10 minutes of my life typing up a frickin' review because somebody said nuclear.
I just imagine going like, "Hang on, James Bond wouldn't say it like that. Not a man of his sophistication and education. Bro, you don't know James Bond's education."
Look, if George W. Bush said it, James Bond would say it.
Mm. This person heard his pronunciation of it and turned the movie off. They're like, I can't watch this shit. Get it out of here.
They got the
Exactly.
character completely wrong.
Rogers would have never done this.
Yeah, George Lazenby would have never.
Sean Connery is spinning in his grave.
Oh,
No, I can kind of imagine Sean Connery. It's a see, now I can't even do it because anyway, but yeah, Sean Connery. Yes, it's nuclear. Yeah, I could see him doing it.
they used the chopper to steal a nuclear weapon.
I'm not even gonna try.
Now, see that kind of covered it though. The kind of covered it, so wouldn't be able to tell. All right, so mine is also a mouthful. So feel free to tune out. So this is from Karen. I'm sorry, Adam. This is probably the weakest in the series with Bond, Brosnan, and villain, Bean, who simper at each other more like girls in a convent school than 2 hardened secret agents. But they are hardened. After an absence of almost 8 years, it is easy to see why a new generation of fans who'd never seen Connery, Moore, and some decent Bond films on the big screen. Okay, I don't know what other decent Bond films they're talking about, but would be taken in by what looks like a TV movie. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I hate to say it, but TV movies in the 90s had some good production value.
Mm-hmm.
They should get some of the older films on video or DVD and find out what they're missing, because this one's got turkey written all over. I'm gonna stop there because it just goes on and on about more BS. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There is one line I do want to address. Unfortunately, the death-defying opening stunt where Bond parachutes over a cliff, defies the laws of gravity, and catches up with a plane already in free fall simply by leaping after it is clearly nonsense. Compare this with the opening scene in Moonraker, in which Moore's Bond catches up with a man already in free fall by using known parachuting techniques. I'm sorry, Adam. I did not realize that you were an expert on parachuting, skydiving, whatever. Yeah, I hate it when people do that shit in reviews. Like, well, everybody should know that this is, and they go into some highly technical shit that nobody would ever know.
I love the notion of saying the thing in this movie is unrealistic. I'm going to bring up Moonraker as a realistic example of something.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. The whole. Well, this is so unrealistic, y'all. It's a James Bond film. I mean,
James Bond jumps off of a cliff edge and dives after a plane. That's nonsense. You know what movie isn't nonsense? Moonraker.
Exactly.
God.
Like, oh my God, this is. But later on, he does bring up the swapping of the motives for Sean Bean's character. So I'll give him that one.
Oh, he could never leap after an airplane. Who does he think he is? Tom Cruise?
Exactly.
Oh, these people don't watch movies correctly. But
No. And you know what? That's fine. Like if you're not into James Bond, don't watch James Bond, but don't hate watch it just so you can write a shitty review on IMDb.
Oh, these people. Me and Nick do this every week, and we're just like, just get a new hobby.
You know what?
Just get a new hobby, people. Get a new hobby.
I do have to say one thing about Adam here. He wrote this November 28th, 1998. So I'm wondering.
Wow.
He's dead.
I'm kind of wondering if now he runs a YouTube channel where he pisses on Star Wars and Marvel and all the other shit.
Oh, you just know he's got a rant somewhere about female Silver Surfer.
Ooh.
Oh no! You know,
and,
I do have
and
a theory
Black
that
Ariel.
Bond fans are they're the next Star Wars fans. It's a new frontier. Get in on the hate while you guys can.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Before we spin the wheel and get out of here, as always, when we have a guest on the show, I have with me the Dad Questionnaire.
Okay.
Brian, I'm going to ask you 14 questions. You're going to give me.
Jesus Christ.
You're going to.
Okay.
You're going to give me just the first thing that comes to you, just right from the heart. And through your
All
answers, the listeners, which, mind you, includes Steve Buscemi,
Okay.
they will be able to tell how dad you are.
Okay. Let's get into it.
All right. Although I am considering now adding a 15th question for our next guest about the best sandwich.
Good question. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
But you already answered that, so we'll just do these 14. Yep. Question 1: do you think you could land an airplane in an emergency?
No.
All right. Question 2: what is your favorite action movie?
Favorite action movie? Oh God. There's so many to choose from. Favorite action movie. I am going to go with. I'm going to say this one. It's not technically an action movie, but it has action in it. The Princess Bride.
Yeah. I will accept that. Question 3: what is your remote drop movie? This is the movie that when you see it on TV, you drop the remote and watch.
Black Panther.
Question 4: how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
When somebody else brings it up.
How often does someone bring it up?
Not very often in my. Well, actually, no. I shouldn't say that. Pretty often in my house because my wife is fascinated with it. I guess she's the dad.
Question 5: have you watched a movie standing up, and if so, what's the longest you've lasted before sitting?
I have not purposely watched a movie. I've had elements in movies that made me stand up. Like it was such a surprise. The last one, I can't even think of the last one. But maybe 30 seconds. I last 30 seconds before I sit back down. Okay.
Question 6: if you were stranded on a deserted island, what movie would you want with you?
A good one. I am going to go with High School Musical 2. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a good one.
Movie. Assuming that I could actually watch it, or
no, you can watch it. All you have on this deserted island is this movie and the ability to watch it.
You only get a copy of the DVD. You can look at the box.
Exactly, right? Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna Zootopia.
That's a good one.
It's a good movie.
I like that movie.
All right.
Question
7.
Movie, yeah.
How many works of Taylor Sheridan have you seen?
Who's Taylor Sheridan?
The man behind the hit TV show Yellowstone, amongst many others.
Probably none. I don't know. I may have watched something of his and not known it was his.
All right.
I'm glad we're finding more people that don't know about him. This needs to become the new trend.
It would be nice. The
backstory. I will say my mom has been trying to talk me into watching Yellowstone. It's just not my cup of tea.
The backstory.
Sons of Anarchy did it better 10 years ago.
The backstory behind this question is my dad started watching Yellowstone and then started watching everything Taylor Sheridan. He's like, Taylor Sheridan's a genius. I'm going to be a cowboy. Blah 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 blah. And then
you're doing this purposely to piss your dad off.
Well, he listened, so that's why I added the question. And then I was talking with my friend, and I had never mentioned my dad watching Yellowstone to him. And just completely, just out of the blue, he mentioned to me his dad had started watching Yellowstone and thought Taylor Sheridan was a genius. I was like, oh my God, my dad's doing the same thing. And it's just a dad thing. Dads love this man.
Okay.
Midwest dads,
And I guess Canadian
and Canadian
ones.
dads apparently.
I'm an East Coast dad, so
Yeah, I guess Canadian dads and Midwest dads just want to be cowboys. All right. Question 8. If a loved one was kidnapped, which movie character would you most emulate while attempting a dare and rescue?
I don't know the character's name, but oh God, crap. Hang on. I don't know who you are, but I will find you and I will kill you.
Brian, his name is Brian Mills. I'm the only one on earth who remembers the name of Liam Neeson's character in Taken.
I couldn't even remember Liam Neeson's name.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
That's
Everybody just goes
terrible.
Liam Neeson in Taken. I'm the only one that knows his name is Brian Mills.
A Brian
Either that
Mills
or-
universe film.
It would either be him or Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us.
He's an angry man.
Yeah. All right.
He's very angry.
Question 9. And I hear he likes golf. Do you let others touch the thermostat?
Yeah, they can touch the thermostat, but I'm always going to set it back to whatever I want it.
Good
Question 10. Who is the best Jack? Bauer, Reacher, or Ryan?
And the beanstalk.
Oh, he left
Ooh.
from left field. The beanstalk.
Ooh. That is a good Jack. All right. Question 11. What is your favorite movie quote?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. Oh, I just had it in my head too, because I quote it all the time.
Goldeneye.
Goldeneye. Like she always liked a good squeeze.
That's far enough.
So I have to go back to Princess Bride. I do quote it all the time. It's not the one I had in my head, but this is another one I quote all the time. We'll never survive the fire swamp. Oh, nonsense. You're only saying that because no one ever has.
It's a good one. Question 12. Who is the coolest movie character?
Oh, God. The coolest movie character. Wolverine.
Pretty cool.
He's pretty cool. Question 13. Favorite dad joke?
Favorite dad joke. Shoot. I had one for this too. Because I knew there would have to be dad jokes on this show. Otherwise, it's not a dad show.
Right.
Shoot. Why am I blanking right now? Oh, because it's midnight. It's past midnight. That's why.
It is late.
And I have not had coffee
Yeah, we do
since
get
8
up
o'clock
to.
this
We do
morning.
get up to much nonsense.
We do, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Nonsense is fun.
Good old
As long as
nonsense.
there's also shenanigans, tomfoolery, and chicanery as well. I'm sorry. What were we? What was the question again? I'm tired. Sorry.
Your favorite dad joke?
Oh, favorite dad joke, right? I'm gonna go with the one that my 8-year-old recently discovered and told me, and it was oh no, that's not really a dad joke. That's a riddle with a trick. Shit.
I will accept a riddle with a trick.
Okay. If the roof of a house faces north and south, and a rooster lays an egg at the peak, which way will the egg roll?
I have no idea.
The left.
Roosters don't lay eggs.
Mm. Count it. Count it.
I count that. That's kind of a punchline.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Question 14, the final question, the most important question, and the only question that doesn't have a wrong answer.
Okay.
What is the best Tom Cruise movie?
The best Tom Cruise movie. He, as much of a train wreck as his personal life is, he puts out some bangers. I'm just going to go ahead and pick one at random because, like I said, he puts out bangers. I'm going to say Day After Tomorrow.
That is a good one.
That is a good one.
Also known as Live, Die, Repeat.
Live, Die, Yep, that is a very good one. That is a good choice. Well, that is it for the Dad Questionnaire. Brian, our listeners now know just how dad you are. It's not for me to say.
Okay.
It's for them to know in their hearts. If they want to give you feedback, they will. But again,
They are They are more than welcome to.
Yeah, but not for me to say.
I always love when we get to the end of these surveys and there's like a tinge of disappointment because they thought they were gonna get some like grand thing from Matt that's like, all right, here's your score.
Yeah, no.
That's fine. I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's not for me to say. It's for the listeners to say.
It is
What's
for the
up?
listeners.
Every listener will judge that questionnaire differently. You know, there's at least one person out there going, "That's not a dad joke. It doesn't count."
Doesn't count. Yeah, that person checked out right after that joke, and they're actually in our reviews commenting like, "Hey, in episode whatever episode this is, like 50 or whatever, Brian Cutter did not make a dad joke. He gave them a riddle." And,
They're uploading IMDb goofs of our
he's not
podcast.
really a dad. He's not really a dad. Take him off of there.
They're up
fake
they're
dad.
IMDb goofs of the podcast.
Sad.
You know what? When you guys post this on Blue Sky, I'm gonna use the hashtag fake dad.
I'll be here for it because
If you remember,
press we
because
can
if you remember to do it, because we record like 6 weeks in advance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if I remember. I don't think I'll remember 6 minutes from now, so
I'll buzz you when it comes out.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
still
good.
need to retweet today's episode.
Yeah, I always ping the guests when an episode comes out. But that is it for the show. I'm gonna spin the wheel and we will get out of here.
Spin that wheel.
There's only 2 movies left on this wheel: Wedding Crashers and Punch Drunk Love. We got a 50-50 shot. One movie will be the next episode. The other movie will be the final episode of the season. Nick, what are you hoping for?
I'm not hoping for either, but I'm gonna guess Wedding Crashers.
All right. As always, I will do the wheel sound effect. It is Punch Drunk Love.
Well, I can't get it right all the time.
Nope. That is it for the show. Brian, where can people follow you if they want to?
They should not, because I don't know where I'm going. No, there's my dad joke.
There it is. Now he's got to delete his goof.
I am on Blue Sky as at Brian Cutter. Let me double check that, make sure I'm not lying to anybody. Yeah, Brian Cutter. Yeah, I can't remember who I am on social media. I also my studio has a channel on YouTube. It is Herc Studios, HERC, short for Hercules. And I can put that link, send you guys that link.
Excellent.
Please do.
Yes, please do, and I will put it in the episode description, and then people can send directly to your studio. That was a riddle, not a dad joke.
That sounds great. I'd love to hear from people telling me that, so I can block them.
Those will be all the emails. Those will be all the emails you get for like the whole week after the episode comes out.
I'm hoping for one from Adam, who wrote that really terrible review of Goldeneye.
Oh my god.
And who now hosts his own shitting on Marvel and DC and Star Wars and Disney.
I would love nothing more than to forget about this episode and like 6 to 8 weeks from now, whenever this goes up, to just get an email. Like the first time anyone's ever like sent in an email to us, and it's the subject just goes, actually, my review was good, and there shouldn't be a female Silver Surfer. I don't know why you're complaining about that. I'm like, oh fuck, it's Adam.
No, the email will be from Adam's brother. We'll call him Andrew. Hey, just want you to know, Adam passed about 10 years ago, but he also hated Skyfall, so good riddance.
Wow, that'd be a downer.
Yeah, Adam. Yeah, I noticed you mentioned my brother on your latest episode. He actually died 10 years ago, but his last words were, "I hope Silver Surfer isn't female."
Look, I've killed a lot of people this episode. I killed a bunch of D-list celebs. I killed Adam. Watch out!
Wow. I mean, you already said that you killed a bunch of your podcast competitors, so well, there's that.
We don't have competitors because we killed them before we even began.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. EMP strike.
Yeah, it's not we didn't kill them. It was Goldeneye.
Goldeneye. R.I.P. Tina.
Yeah. Well, on that note, that is another successful episode. If you would like to watch Punch Drunk Love, as we do for the next episode, go for it, or just listen to us ramble. In the meantime, as always, don't tell your mother.